You want to be a champion? It starts right here. Let's go.
Fueled by a steady diet of dreams, desire, and a never-say-die determination.
Let's go. Push it, push it.
Because if you want to wear the crown, you have to pay the price, and it starts here. When heavyweight China Smith looks to regain his title from Saul Montana, plus undefeated super middleweight Jerson Ravelo takes on George Walton on ShoBox: The New Generation. Next, only on Showtime.
Welcome to the Sundome in Tampa, Florida, for an afternoon of professional boxing. My name is Joe Diaco, and I'll be your ring announcer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is ShoBox: The New Generation.
And nobody gonna give you nothing for nothing. You gotta work for what you get. You gotta get them shots off. Left hook, right hand,
Both hands up, both hands up. Let's go. Go out there. Focus on the job that has to be done. This is what it takes to be champ. This is what it takes right here, baby.
Opportunity only knocking once. Let's go.
This week on ShoBox: The New Generation, we head south to the Sundome in Tampa, Florida. We're at the University of South Florida for a boxing doubleheader. Our main event is a return engagement scheduled for 12 rounds, when China Smith looks to even the score against the man who handed him his first career loss, rugged veteran Saul Montana, in a heavyweight rematch. And the card gets started with a clash of young New York City area fighters when unbeaten Jerson Ravelo meets George Walton in a super middleweight matchup scheduled for 8. Hello again, everybody, and welcome. I'm Nick Charles with Steve Farhood on the campus of the University of South Florida. It's a Saturday afternoon, but school is definitely in session in this building, in the ring behind us, and particularly for young heavyweight China Smith. Steve, China Smith got a rude awakening in this building the last time he was in this ring. Yet here he is tonight, jumping right back in against the guy who beat him. Good timing for him, good opponent, right opponent. Why not?
Nick, China Smith, this is the only fight for him at this point. Remember, China Smith, on his way up, fought very easy competition. When he fought Montana the first time, it was a huge jump up in class. Not only did he not beat Montana, not only did he lose to Montana, he got stopped by Montana. As a result, this rematch for China Smith is about credibility. He cannot get us to believe in him until he believes in himself. And he has to win this rematch for that to happen.
Saul Montana is a 15-year veteran with 47 fights under his belt. Add those numbers up, and the risk is you could get a guy who suddenly turns old overnight. What does Saul Montana really have to gain by coming back here on enemy turf and facing a guy he beat 5.5 months ago, Steve?
Nick, at this point in Montana's career, he's 31 years old. He's had almost 50 fights. It's all about the Benjamins. He's getting paid 3 times as much for this fight against China Smith as he did the first fight. That alone was enough to convince him to come back to Tampa. But a rematch with China Smith is not what Saul Montana really wants. He wants a rematch with the cruiserweight champ, Vasily Jirov. He's coming in 215 for this fight. That's a funny way to show that you want to fight with a cruiserweight. Nonetheless, he can't worry about Jirov. Saul Montana has to worry about coming on the road in the backyard of China Smith and beating him for a second time. It won't be easy.
Well, the thrust of our ShoBox series is finding fresh talent. We'll know soon enough whether China Smith can get it right this time and beat the man who beat him 5.5 months ago in this very building. It's our 12-round main event heavyweight rumble coming up later in the hour. But now, our leadoff bout, an 8-round super middleweight showdown between undefeated Jerson Ravelo and George Walton. Let's talk about Jerson Ravelo. He's 25 years old, born in the Dominican, lives in Newark, New Jersey. He holds dual citizenship, an an American who represented the Dominican Republic at the 2000 Sydney Olympics. His amateur credentials include a win and a loss against highly advertised Jeff Lacey. Ravelo turned pro last year and hasn't been beaten. He's a tall, strong, aggressive fighter, 11-0 with 8 KOs. Steve, take us behind the numbers.
Jerson Ravelo, 11-0, moving on up after facing predictable fodder in 2001. Ravelo has begun to raise the level of his competition. His last 2 opponents had records of 15-1-1 and 21-2-2. Busy is good. Ravelo was the first of the U.S.-based 2000 Olympians to reach double digits in wins. He's coming off a 6-month layoff and wants to reestablish his activity. At short hours, Ravelo has been past 4 rounds only once. In fact, he's fought only 27 rounds as a pro. An 8-rounder today would be quite beneficial.
Well, George Walton got a late start in the ring, beginning serious training at age 19. He won a New York Golden Gloves title and turned pro 5 years ago. Walton will be 29 tomorrow and needs to be much more active from now on if he's going to develop into a serious prospect. He's got a heavy right hand and is a good pressure fighter. However, he's coming off an 8-round loss, first loss in his career. George Blaze Walton is 11-1 with 7 knockouts. Steve, take us behind those numbers.
Stops and starts. This will be the first time in his 6-year career that Walton will fight more than twice in a year. A lack of activity has definitely stunted his development. Size story. Until today, Walton's career high in weight has been 163 pounds. The taller Ravelo regularly fights as high as 168. Advantage Ravelo. And the other corner, Walton's 12 previous opponents had won 57% of their bouts. Ravelo's previous 11 foes had won at a 69% clip. Slight advantage to Ravelo.
And so a couple of New York City area super middleweights have come to South Florida. It's Jerson Ravelo putting his perfect record on the line against George Walton, who's anxious to bounce back from the only defeat of his career. Let's go now to ring announcer Joe Diaco, who has the formal introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sundome on the campus of University of South Florida, right here in beautiful Tampa Bay, Florida, for an afternoon of professional boxing brought to you by Stephen Diaco in association with HCG 5-Star Promotion, Aston Martin Jaguar of Tampa, Trim Spa, Carsmetics, Corona, La Cerveza Más Fina, and Showtime. Tonight's bout is sanctioned by the Florida State Athletic Commission. The executive director in attendance tonight is Chris Mefford. Presenting the judges appointed at ringside, Jay Cassis, Alex Levin, and Judge Frank Skilbred. The referee for this evening's bout will be referee Brian Gary. Tonight's bout is scheduled for 8 rounds in the super middleweight division, and presenting first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks and weighing in tonight at an even 165 pounds. He comes tonight with a professional record of 11 wins, 1 loss, 7 wins, coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Harlem in New York City, George Blaze Walton. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, entering the ring wearing red, white, and blue trunks. He weighed in tonight at an even 162 pounds. He has an undefeated professional record of 11 wins, no losses, 8 wins coming by way of knockout. He comes tonight from San Cristobal in the Dominican Republic. He is now the pride of Newark, New Jersey. He was the 2000 Olympian for the Dominican Republic. He was the 1999 U.S. Challenge Cup champion. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Jerson Ravelo. Brian Gary will now give the boxers their instructions.
Okay, gentlemen, I want you to listen to me at all times. I give you command to break, you break cleanly. Avoid the use of your head as a weapon. No rabbit punches or low blows. I want you to protect yourself at all times. These trunks right here are a little bit high, so anything right in here, this is still good. I want you to protect yourself, come out boxing at the bell. Touch them up. I got that, George.
During that final instruction, you saw every bit of that 6.5-inch height advantage for Jerson Ravelo. He wants to be outside, Walton wants to be inside. It's really not any more difficult than that.
And the rules in keeping with the Association of Boxing Commissions, nothing unconventional here. Only the referee can stop the fight. Our referee is Brian Gary, and he is about to get us going here in Tampa. Jerson Ravelo. Red, white, and blue, and coming on big is George Walton. He will need some speed here, Steve. Ravelo with the reach, height advantage. If he boxes and makes this a distance fight, it could be pretty methodical, but exciting.
Well, Walton's a big right-handed puncher. That's his ticket. I want to see urgency, a sense of urgency from Walton. He has to make the fight. He's the short guy. He has to get inside. He knows that. And I don't want to see him pose, because sometimes he does that. That's why he lost his last fight, too much posing.
Ravelo trained by Mark Breland, and Breland's big instruction, relax, take your time, keep the jab in George Walton's face. Great advice for somebody with superior reach and height.